Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday reading Krishna book to Srila Prabhupada, as we've been doing for 4 years now. This is our 4th time around Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book. So as we always do, let us offer our respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to each other. Namo Om Vishnavadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesha Sunyavari Paskachade Shatarane. To each other, Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we welcome all of you online. You can note the subtitles at the bottom of the page, and that will help you to read along with us in English. So today we're concluding the chapter Prayers by the Personified Vedas, longest chapter in Krishna book. This is our 5th Sunday, and we're now completing. One who can remember everything perpetually is called a Shruti Dara. A Shruti Dara brahmachari can repeat verbatim all that he has heard without notes and without reference to books. The great sage Narada has this qualification, and therefore, having taken instructions from Narayan Rishi, he is engaged in propagating the philosophy of devotional service all over the world. Because such great sages can remember everything, they are thoughtful, self-realized, and completely fixed in the service of the Lord. Thus the great sage Narada, after hearing from his spiritual master Narayan Rishi, became completely realized. He became established in the truth, and he became so happy that he offered prayers to Narayan Rishi. Narada Muni addressed Narayan Rishi as an incarnation of Krishna, and specifically addressed him as the supreme well-wisher of the conditioned souls. It is stated in the Bhagavad-Gita that Lord Krishna descends in every millennium just to give protection to his devotees and to annihilate the non-devotees. Narayan Rishi, being an incarnation of Krishna, is also addressed as the well-wisher of the conditioned souls. As stated in the Bhagavad-Gita, everyone should know that there is no well-wisher like Krishna. Everyone should understand that Lord Krishna is the supreme well-wisher of everyone and should take shelter of him. In this way, one can become completely confident and satisfied, knowing that he has someone who is able to give him all protection. Krishna himself. His incarnations and his plenary expansions are all supreme well-wishers of the conditioned souls. But Krishna is the well-wisher even of the demons, for he gave salvation to all the demons who came to kill him in Vrindavan. Therefore, Krishna's welfare activities are absolute. For whether he annihilates a demon or gives protection to a devotee, the result of his activities is one and the same. It is said that the demon Putana was elevated to the same position as that of Krishna's mother. When Krishna kills a demon, the demon is supremely benefited, as much as a pure devotee is benefited by always being protected by the Lord.
Narad Muni, after offering respects to Narayan Rishi, went to the ashram of Vyasadev. His disciple, being properly received by Vyasadev in his ashram and seated very comfortably. Narad Muni narrated the entire story of what he had heard from Narayan Rishi. In this way, Sukdev Goswami informed Maharaj Pariksit of the answers to his questions regarding the essence of Vedic knowledge and what is considered to be the ultimate goal in the Vedas. The supreme goal of life is to achieve the transcendental blessings of the Supreme Personality Godhead and thus become engaged in the loving service of the Lord. One should follow in the footsteps of Sukdev Goswami and all the other Vaishnavas in the disciplic succession and should pay respectful obeisance unto Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the four sets of Vaishnava disciplic succession, namely the Madhava Sampradaya, the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, and the Nimbark Sampradaya, in pursuance of all Vedic conclusions, agree that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The Vedic literature is divided into two parts, the Shrutis and the Smritis. The Shrutis are the four Vedas, Rig, Sama, Atharva, and Yajur, and the Upanishads, and the Smritis are the Puranas and the Itihasas like the Mahabharata, which include the Bhagavad-Gita. The conclusion of all these is that one should know Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Parama Purusha, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose superintendence material nature works. For creation, maintenance, and annihilation, the Supreme Lord incarnates into three: Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, after manifesting the material cosmos. All of these take charge of the three modes of material nature, but the ultimate direction is in the hand of Lord Vishnu. The complete activities of material nature under the three modes are conducted under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Myajakshena, and in the Vedas, Sa Akshata. Sa Akshata.
The atheistic Sankhya philosophers will, of course, offer their arguments that the material cosmic manifestation is due to Prakriti and Purusha. Material nature and the living entity are the material cause and the effective cause. But Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the cause of both the material and the effective causes. Prakriti and Purusha are not the ultimate cause. Superficially, it appears that a child is born due to the combination of the father and mother. But the ultimate cause of both the father and the mother is Krishna. He is therefore the original cause or the cause of all causes, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Both the Supreme Lord and the living entities enter into the material nature. The Supreme Lord Krishna, by one of his plenary expansions, manifests as Karandaksai Mahavishnu, the gigantic Vishnu from lying in the casual ocean. Then from that gigantic form of Mahavishnu, Garbhadaksai Vishnu expands and enters into every universe. From him, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv expand. Vishnu, as Karanaksai, enters into the hearts of all living entities, as well as into all material elements, including the atom. The Brahma Samhita said, Andantarastha paramam chayantarastam. The Lord is within this universe and also within every atom.
Oops. The living entity has a small material body taken in various species and forms, and similarly, the whole universe is but the material body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This body is described in the Shastras as Virat Rupa. As the individual living entity maintains his particular body, the Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains the whole cosmic creation, entering within it. As soon as the individual living entity leaves the material body, the body is immediately annihilated. And similarly, as soon as Lord Vishnu leaves the cosmic manifestation, everything is annihilated. Therefore, only when the individual living entity surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is his liberation from material existence possible. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita. Mam eva ye prabhadyante, mayam etam taranti te. 4:11. Surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and nothing else is therefore the cause of liberation. How the living entity becomes liberated from the modes of material nature after surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is illustrated by the example of a sleeping man within a room. When a man is sleeping, everyone sees that he is present within the room, but actually the man himself is not within that body. For while sleeping, a man forgets his bodily existence, although others may see that his body is present. Similarly, a liberated person engaged in devotional service to the Lord may be seen by others to be engaged in the household duties of the material world, but since his consciousness is fixed in Krishna, he does not live within this world. His engagements are different, exactly as the sleeping man's engagements are different from his bodily engagements. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad-Gita that a devotee engaged full time in the transcendental loving service of the Lord has already surpassed the influence of the three modes of material nature. He is already situated on the Brahman platform and is in the transcendental realm, although he appears to be living within the body or within the material world.
In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami stated in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that the person whose only desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead may be situated in any condition in the material world, but is to be understood as Jivan Mukta. That is to say, he is to be considered liberated while living within the body or material world. The conclusion, therefore, is that a person fully engaged in Krishna consciousness is a liberated person. Such a person actually has nothing to do with his material body or the material world. The who are not in Krishna consciousness are called karmis and jnanis, and they hover on the worldly and mental platforms and thus are not liberated. This situation is called Kaivalya Nirasta Yoni. But a person situated on the transcendental platform is freed from the repetition of birth and death. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, simply by knowing the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. One becomes free from the chains of the repetition of birth and death, and after quitting his present body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. This is the conclusion of all the Vedas. Thus, after understanding the prayers offered by the personified Vedas, one should surrender unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 87th chapter of Krishna, prayers by the personified Vedas. Hari Bol.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful. Chapter 88, The Deliverance of Lord Shiva. As a great devotee of Krishna, King Parikshit was already liberated, but for clarification, he was asking various questions of Shukadeva Goswami. In the previous chapter, King Parikshit's question was, what is the ultimate goal of the Vedas? And Shukadeva Goswami explained the matter, giving authoritative descriptions from the disciplic succession, from Sanandana down to Narayan Rishi, Narada, Vyasadeva, and then Shukadeva himself. The conclusion was that devotional service, or bhakti, is the ultimate goal of the Vedas. A neophyte devotee may question, if the ultimate goal of life or the conclusion of the Vedas is to elevate oneself to the platform of devotional service, then why is it observed that a devotee of Lord Vishnu is generally not very prosperous materially, whereas a devotee of Lord Shiva is found to be very opulent? In order to clarify this matter, Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadeva Goswami, my dear Shukadeva Goswami, it is generally found that those who engage in the worship of Lord Shiva, whether in human, demoniac, or demigod society, become materially very opulent, although Lord Shiva himself lives just like a poverty-stricken person. On the other hand, the devotees of Lord Vishnu, who is the controller of the goddess of fortune, do not appear very prosperous, and sometimes they are even found living without any material opulence at all. Lord Shiva lives underneath a tree or in the snow of the Himalayan mountains. He does not even construct a house for himself, but still the worshippers of Lord Shiva are very rich. Krishna, or Lord Vishnu, however, lives very opulently, whether in Vaikuntha or in the material world, but his devotees appear poverty-stricken. Why is this so?
Maharaj Parikshit's question is very intelligent. The two classes of devotees, namely the devotees of Lord Shiva and the devotees of Lord Vishnu, are always in disagreement. Even today in India, these two classes of devotees still criticize each other. And especially in South India, the followers of Ramanujacharya and the followers of Sankaracharya hold occasional meetings for understanding the Vedic conclusion. Generally, the followers of Ramanujacharya come out victorious in such meeting. So Parikshit Maharaj wanted to clarify the situation by asking this question of Sukdev Goswami. That Lord Shiva lives as a poor man, although his devotees appear very opulent. Whereas Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is always opulent, and yet his devotees appear poverty stricken. Is a situation which appears contradictory and puzzling to a discriminating person.
Replying to King Parikshit's inquiry, Shukadeva Goswami said that Lord Shiva is the master of the material energy. The material energy is represented by Goddess Durga, and because Lord Shiva happens to be her husband, Goddess Durga is completely under his subjugation. Thus, Lord Shiva is understood to be the master of the material energy. The material energy is manifested in three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. And therefore, Lord Shiva is the master of these three qualities. Although he is in association with these qualities for the benefit of the conditioned soul, Lord Shiva is their director and does not affect it. In other words, although the conditioned soul is affected by the three qualities, Lord Shiva, being their master, is not.
From the statements of Sukdev Goswami, we can understand that the effects of worshipping different demigods are not as some less intelligent persons suppose. The same as the effects of worshipping Lord Vishnu. Sukdev Goswami clearly states that by worshipping Lord Shiva, one achieves one reward, whereas by worshipping Lord Vishnu, one achieves a different reward. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita. Those who worship the different demigods achieves the desired results the respective demigods can reward. Similarly, those who worship the material energy receive the suitable reward for such activities, and those who worship the Pitras receive similar results, but those who engage in devotional service or in the worship of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu or Krishna, go to the Vaikuntha planets or Krishna Loka. One cannot approach the transcendental region or Parabhyama, the spiritual sky, by worshiping Lord Shiva or Brahma or any other demigod.
Since this material world is a product of the three qualities of material nature, all varieties of manifestations come from those three qualities. With the aid of materialistic science, modern civilization has created many machines and comforts, yet they are only varieties of the interactions of the three material qualities. Although the devotees of Lord Shiva are able to obtain many material acquisitions, we should know that such devotees are simply collecting products manufactured by the three qualities. The three qualities are again subdivided into 16, namely the 10 senses, 5 working senses, and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the mind, and the 5 elements earth, water, air, fire, and sky. These 16 items are extensions of the three qualities. Material happiness or opulence means gratification of the senses, especially the genitals, the tongue, and the mind. By exercising our minds, we create many pleasurable things just for enjoyment by the genitals and the tongue. The opulence of a person within this material world. No, only for reading. Yes. These 16 items are extensions of the three qualities. Material happiness or opulence means gratification of the senses, especially the genitals, tongue, and the mind. The opulence of a person within this material world is estimated in terms of his exercise of the genitals and the tongue, or in other words, how well he is able to utilize his sexual capacities and how well he is able to satisfy his fastidious taste by eating palatable dishes. Material advancement of civilization necessitates creating objects of enjoyment by mental concoction just to become happy on the basis of these two principal pleasures, for the genitals and pleasures for the tongue. Herein lies the answer to King Parikshit's question to Shukadeva Goswami as to why the worshippers of Lord Shiva are so opulent. It's so scientific.
The devotees of Lord Shiva are opulent only in terms of the material qualities. Factually, such so-called advancement of civilization is the cause of entanglement in material existence. It is actually not advancement but degradation. The conclusion is that because Lord Shiva is the master of the three qualities, his devotees are given things manufactured by the interactions of these qualities for the satisfaction of the senses. In the Bhagavad-Gita, however, we get instruction from Lord Krishna that one has to transcend this qualitative existence. Nistrai guna bhavarjuna. The mission of human life is to become transcendental to the three qualities. Unless one is Nistray Gunya, he cannot get free from material entanglement. In other words, favors received from Lord Shiva are not actually beneficial to the conditioned souls, although materially such facilities seem opulent. Sukdev Goswami continued, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is transcendental to the three qualities of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord stated that anyone who surrenders unto him surpasses the control of the three qualities of material nature. Therefore, since Hari's devotees are transcendental to the control of the three material qualities, certainly he himself is transcendental. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is therefore stated that Hari or Krishna is the original Supreme Personality. There are two kinds of prakritis or potencies, namely the eternal potency and the external potency. And Krishna is the overlord of both. He is Sarva Drik, or the overseer of all the actions of eternal and external potencies. And he is also described as Upadrashta, the supreme advisor. Because he is the supreme advisor, he is above all the demigods who merely follow the direction of the supreme advisor. As such, if one directly follow the instruction of the Supreme Lord, as inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then one gradually become nirguna or above the incarnation of the material qualities. To be nirguna means to be bereft of material opulence because, as we have explained, material opulence means an increase of the actions and reactions of the three material qualities by worshiping the Supreme Personal Godhead. Instead of being puffed up with material opulations, one becomes enriched with spiritual advancement of knowledge. In Krishna consciousness, to become nirguna means to achieve eternal peace, fearlessness, religiousness, knowledge, and renunciation. All these are symptoms of becoming free from the contamination of the material qualities.
Shukadeva Goswami, in answering Parikshit Maharaj's question, went on to cite an historical instance regarding Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather, King Yudhisthira. He said that after finishing the Ashvamedha sacrifice in the great sacrificial arena, King Yudhisthira, in the presence of great authorities, inquired from Lord Krishna on that very same point. How is it that the devotees of Lord Shiva become materially opulent, whereas the devotees of Lord Vishnu do not? Shukadeva Goswami specifically referred to King Yudhisthira as your grandfather so that Maharaj Parikshit would be encouraged to think that he was related to Krishna and that his grandfathers were intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Although by nature Krishna is always very satisfied, when Maharaj Yudhishthir asked this question, the Lord became even more satisfied because this question and its answer will bear a great meaning for the entire Krishna conscious society. Whenever Lord Krishna speaks about something to a specific devotee, it is meant not only for that devotee but for all devotees, and indeed for the entire human society. Instructions by the Supreme Personality of Godhead are important even to the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the other demigods. And if one does not take advantage of the instructions of the Supreme Personal Godhead who descends in this world for the benefit of all living entities, he is certainly very fortunate. Unfortunate, yeah.
Lord Krishna answered the question of Maharaj Yudhisthira as follows. If I especially favor a devotee and especially wish to care for him, the first thing I do is take away his riches. When the devotee becomes a penniless pauper or is put into a comparatively poverty-stricken position, his relatives and family members no longer take interest in him, and in most cases, they give up their connection with him. Then the devotee then becomes doubly unhappy. First of all, the devotee becomes unhappy because his riches have been taken away by Krishna, and he is made even more unhappy when his relatives desert him because of his poverty. We should note, however, that when a devotee falls into a miserable condition in this way, it is not due to past impious activities known as karma pala. The poverty of the devotee is a creation of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, when a devotee becomes materially opulent, that is also not due to his pious activities. In either case, whether the devotee becomes poor or richer, the arrangement is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This arrangement is especially made by Krishna for his devotee, just to make him completely dependent upon him and to free him from all material obligations. He can then concentrate his energies, mind and body, everything, for the service of the Lord, and that is pure devotional service. In the Narada Pancharatna, it is therefore explained, Sarvapadi Virmuktam, Virnirmuktam, which means being freed from all designations. Works performed for family, society, community, nation, or humanity are all designated. I belong to this society, I belong to this community, I belong to this nation, I belong to this species of life. Such identities are all merely designations. When, by the grace of the Lord, a devotee is freed from all designations, when he's freed from all, oh, I lost my place, sorry. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee is freed from all designations. His devotional service is actually Naishkarmya. Jnanis are very much attracted by the position of Naishkarmya, in which one's activities no longer have any material effect. The devotee's activities are freed from material effects, and so these activities are no longer in the category of karma phalam or fruit of activities. As explained before by the personified Vedas, the happiness and distress of a devotee are produced by the personality of Godhead, and the devotee therefore does not care whether he is in happiness or in distress. He goes on with his duties in executing devotional service. Although his behavior seems to be subject to the actions and reactions of fruitive activities, he is actually freed from the results of action.
It may be questioned why a devotee is put into the tribulation by the personality of Godhead. The answer is that this kind of arrangement by the Lord is just like a father sometimes becoming unkind to his sons. Because the devotee is a surrendered soul and is taken charge of by the Supreme Lord. Whatever condition of life the Lord puts him in, whether one of the distress or happiness, it is to be understood that behind this arrangement is a large plan designed by Supreme, the personal Godhead. For example, Lord Krishna put the Pandavas into a distressed condition so acute that even grandfather Bhishma could not comprehend, comprehend how such distress could occur. He lamented that although the whole Pandavas family was headed by King Yudhishthir, the most pious king, and the protected by the two great warriors Bhima and Arjuna, and although above all the Pandavas were all intimate friends and relatives of Lord Krishna, they still had to undergo such tribulations. Later, however, it was proved that this was planned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as part of his great mission to annihilate the miscreants and protect the devotees.
Another question may be raised. What is the difference between a devotee and a common man, since both are put into different kinds of happy and distressful conditions? The devotee by the arrangement of the personality of Godhead, and the common man as a result of his past deeds. How is a devotee any better than the ordinary karmi? The answer is that the karmis and the devotees are not on the same level. In whatever condition of life the karmi may be, he continues in the cycle of birth and death because the seed of karma or fruit of activity is there, and it fructifies whenever there is an opportunity. By the law of karma, a common man is perpetually entangled in repeated birth and death, whereas a devotee's distress and happiness, not being under the laws of karma, are part of a temporary arrangement by the Supreme Lord, which does not entangle the devotee. Such an arrangement is made by the Lord only to serve a temporary purpose. If a karmi performs auspicious acts, he is elevated to the heavenly planets, and if he acts impiously, he is put into a hellish condition. But whether a devotee acts in a so called pious or impious manner, he is neither elevated nor degraded, but is transferred to the spiritual kingdom. Therefore, a devotee's happiness and distress and the karmi's happiness and distress are not on the same level. This fact is corroborated by a speech by Yamaraj to his servants in connection with the liberation of Ajamil. Yamaraj advised his followers that only persons who have never uttered the holy names of the Lord or remembered the form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord should be approached by his watch guards. Yamaraj also advised his servants never to approach the devotees. On the contrary, he instructed his messengers that if they meet a devotee, they should offer their respectful obeisances. So there is no question of a devotee's being promoted or degraded within this material world, as there is a gulf of difference between the punishment awarded by the mother and the punishment awarded by an enemy. So a devotee's distress is not the same as the distress of a common karmi.
Here another question may be raised. If the Supreme Lord is all powerful, why should he try to reform his devotees by putting him in distress? The answer is that when the Supreme Personality Godhead puts his devotee in distress, it is not without purpose. Sometimes the purpose is that in distress a devotee's feelings of attachment to Krishna are magnified. For example, when Krishna, before leaving the capital of the Pandavas for his home, asked Kunti Devi for permission to leave, she said, "My dear Krishna, each hour distress you were always present with us. Now, because we have been elevated to a royal position, you are leaving us. I would therefore prefer to live in the distress than to lose you. When a devotee is put into a situation of distress, his devotional activities are accelerated. Therefore, to show special favor to devotee, the Lord sometimes puts him into distress. Besides that, it is stated that the sweetness of happiness is sweeter to those who have tasted bitterness. The Supreme Lord descends to this material world just to protect his devotees from distress. In other words, if devotees were not in a distressed condition, the Lord would have no come down. As for his killing the demons or miscreants, this can be easily done by his various energies, just as many asuras are killed by his external energy. Goddess Durga, therefore, the Lord does not need to come down personal to kill such demons. But when his devotees is in distress, he must come. Lord Nrsimhadev appeared not in order to kill Hiranyakasipu, but to save Prahlad and to give him blessings. In other words, because Prahlad Maharaj was put into very great distress, the Lord appeared. When after the dense dark night there is finally sunrise in the morning, it is very pleasant. When there is in scorching heat, cold water, cold water is very pleasant. And when there is freezing winter, hot water is very pleasant. Similarly, when a devotee, after experiencing the distress of the material world, realizes the spiritual happiness awarded by Lord, his position is still more pleasant and enjoyable.
Can you take this
When
off?
after this?
Can he take this off?
The Lord continued, excuse me, the Lord continued, when my devotee is bereft of all material riches and is deserted by his relatives, friends, and family members, because he has no one to look after him, he completely takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in this connection, my dear Lord Krishna, O son of Nanda Maharaj, you are now standing before me with Srimati Radharani, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. I am now surrendering unto you. please accept me. Please do not kick me away. I have no shelter other than you. When a devotee is thus put into a so-called miserable conditions and bereft of the riches, bereft of the riches and family, he tries to revive his original position of material opulence. But although he tries again and again, Krishna again and again takes away all his resources. Thus, he finally becomes disappointed in material activities. And in that stage of frustration in all endeavors, he can fully surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such persons are advised by the Lord from within to associate with devotees. By associating with devotees, they naturally become inclined to render service to the to the personality of Godhead, and they immediately get all facilities from the Lord to advance in Krishna consciousness. The non-devotees, however, are very careful about preserving their material conditions of life. Generally, therefore, such non devotees do not come to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but worship Lord Shiva or other demigods for immediate material profit. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is said, therefore, Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata. The karmis, in order to achieve success within this material world, worship the various demigods. It is also stated by Lord Krishna that those who worship the demigods are not mature in their intelligence. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore, because of their strong attachment for Him, do not foolishly go to the demigods.
Lord Krishna said to King Yudhisthira, "My devotee is not deterred by any adverse condition of life. He always remains firm and steady. Therefore, I give myself to him, and I favor him so that he can achieve the highest success of life. The mercy bestowed upon the tried devotee by the Supreme Personality is described as Brahma, which indicates that the greatness of that mercy can be compared only to the all-pervasive greatness of Brahman. Brahma means unlimitedly great and unlimitedly expanding. That mercy is also described as Paramam, for it has no comparison within this material world, and it is also called Shukshmam, very fine. Not only is the Lord's mercy upon the tried devotee great and unlimitedly expansive, but it is of the finest quality of transcendental love between the devotee and the Lord. Such mercy is further described as chinmatram, completely spiritual. The use of the word matram indicates absolute spirituality with no tinge of material qualities. That mercy is also called sat, eternal, and anantakam, unlimited. Since the devotee of the Lord is awarded such unlimited spiritual benefit, why should he worship the demigods? A devotee of Krishna does not worship Lord Shiva or Brahma or any other subordinate demigod. He completely devotes himself to the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Sukdev Goswami continued, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and including Lord Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and others are apart to be very quickly satisfied or very quickly angered by good or ill behavior of their devotees. But this is not so with the Supreme Personality Godhead Vishnu. This means that every living entity within this material world, including the demigods, is conducted by the three modes of material nature, and therefore the qualities of ignorance and passion are very prominent within the material world. Those devotees who take blessings from the demigods are also impacted with the material qualities, especially passion and ignorance. Lord Sri Krishna has therefore stated in Bhagavad-Gita that to take blessings from the demigods is less intelligent because when one takes benedictions from the demigods, the results of such benedictions are temporary. It is easy to get material opulence by worshipping the demigods, but the result is sometimes disastrous. As such, the benedictions derived from demigods are appreciated only by the less intelligent class of men. Persons who derive benediction from the demigods gradually become puffed up with material opulence and neglectful of their benefactors.
Sukadeva Goswami addressed King Parikshit thus, "My dear king, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, the principal trio of the material creation, are able to bless or curse anyone. Of this trio, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are very easily satisfied, but also very easily angered. When satisfied, they give benedictions without consideration, and when angry, they curse the devotee without consideration. But Lord Vishnu is not like that. Lord Vishnu is very considerate. Whenever a devotee wants something from Lord Vishnu first considers whether such a benediction will ultimately be good for the devotee. The Lord Vishnu never bestows any benediction which will ultimately prove disastrous to the devotee. By his transcendental nature, he is always merciful. Therefore, before giving any benediction, he considers whether it will prove beneficial for the devotee. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always merciful, even when it appears that he has killed a demon, or even when he apparently becomes angry toward a devotee, his actions are always auspicious. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore known as all good. Whatever he does is good.
Yes. As for the benedictions given by demigods like Lord Shiva, there is the following historical incident cited by great sages. Once, Lord Shiva, after giving a benediction to a devotee named Vrikasura, the son of Shakuni, was himself entrapped in a very dangerous position. Vrikasura was searching after a benediction and trying to decide which of the three presiding deities to worship in order to get it. In the meantime, he happened to meet the great sage Narada and consulted with him as to whom he should approach to achieve quick results from his austerity. He inquired, of the three deities, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, who is most quickly satisfied? Narada could understand the plan of the demon and he advised him, "You had better worship Lord Shiva. Then you will quickly get the desired result." Lord Shiva is very quickly satisfied and very quickly dissatisfied also.
So you try to satisfy Lord Shiva. Narada also cited instances wherein demons like Ravana and Banasur were enriched with great opulences simply by satisfying Lord Shiva with prayer. Because the great sage Narada was aware of the nature of the demon Brikasur, he did not advise him to approach Vishnu or Lord Brahma. Persons such as Brikasur, who are situated in the material mode of ignorance, cannot stick to the worship Vishnu.
So, my dear devotees, that concludes our 1 hour of reading Krishna book to Srila Prabhupada. We'll continue next Sunday. And as we always do, let us offer our respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and to each other. Namam Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paskachadesha Tarane. And to each other, Vanchakalpadrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Krishna Book, Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna.